It's rather interesting that a politician will be calling a researcher into sexual orientation, gender identity expert as ignorant. It's rather sad that he's showing a lot of ignorance in, like I mentioned before, sexuality and gender identity issues. Like I mentioned before, you do not throw about words like he did, like LG, and they are bringing LGBT and currently I'm writing a paper that shows clearly, like, politicians like this always pin sexuality and these laws around the sexual activity of a sexual activity. Let me be very specific: sexual activity of gay men. In the string of sexual minorities, as we call it, there are a number of them, and as you have listed in your law, you can see. So this idea of pushing this negative thought of anal tear and all of that is wrong. Now let me clarify this idea you mentioned and wrongfully misinforming us about the HIV issue in Ghana. I think it's important to understand that HIV amongst key populations, as we call them, which include men who have sex with men, and remember, this is not gay men alone, with men who have sex with men. It is heterosexual men are included in men who have sex with men. HIV prevalence amongst key populations is high because of things like this. And if you read the research properly, you see that criminalization of men who have sex with men is a key thing that continues to push people into hiding, and therefore does not allow them to come out for sexual and sexual and HIV services, because they are afraid to go to the hospital, they'll be reported, they will be arrested and all of that because they did, as you have mentioned, Honorable, that they have had their privacy and something has happened to them and they are going for services. Like a heterosexual will have sex with a man will have sex with a woman and catch a disease or something. Just the same thing, they cannot go for services because of such a law that we are trying to push now. And also the issue of the prevalence. Do you know that the prevalence amongst heterosexual people is higher than that within the key populations? Because key populations numbers are calculated by the number of people that are found within a particular study. So it is not this idea of pushing it is high. Yes, it's high amongst because of laws like this that is being made. So if this law is being passed and is going to push more people into hiding, is not going to help them attain and get HIV services, as heterosexuals who have a higher prevalence could have the service, then it is a sense of discrimination, as already we can talk about. Now you talk about this idea of World Health Organization and the US. It's wrong. You are misinforming us. The idea is that the World Health Organization has removed this thing from the idea of this being a mental illness, from its system long time ago. So then why would you come and mention US? We're not talking about US. You accept medication from the World Health Organization. World Health Organization is saying that let's do vaccination. We are doing. Let's do whatever it is we are following. The World Health Organization is saying that criminalizing somebody for having private sexual activity and somebody identifying. So you also, let me quickly, a lot of things you mentioned that brings up these myths that you have. The idea that when you criminalize sexual activity and the law doesn't criminalize, it criminalizes a person. That is why I say that sexuality is not an act. It is an individual. If you say that they've not found any homosexual gene, where is the heterosexual gene that they have found? You know, where in the research have we found that there's a specific gene that says A is heterosexual and B is not? The reason why we cannot find a homosexual gene is because there's nothing like that. And therefore, sexuality is an individual who is born with a particular sexuality and they live as a human being.
Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and click on that bell icon and get notified every time we share something new. You know we always share something new. Stay consistent.